a freaking IKEA chair. All right, we got to talk about where does the Indiana Jones franchise go next? And it's going to be a very, very simple answer. I will just tell you right off the bat, nowhere. I think the film has turned out to be a colossal disappointment. I mean, the second time I saw it, which was last Thursday, it made me sad to see it. This is kind of how they see a lot of the male characters, and it's just bizarre. And what they've done also is basically shield themselves from any criticism. Okay, I get that feeling that that's where we are. But let's talk about like Kathleen Kennedy in this, her role in this. There just seem to be recurring themes in all of the franchises that she has shepherded. And here we are now with 3 franchises. The Willow series was very poorly received and is now been taken off of Disney Plus. Now, the reason I would speculate for that to happen is mainly because you're going to have to pay people. If something is showing, actors get residuals, directors get profits. If a series is alive and out there, there is money that's being dispensed.
Yeah, actually, I think it's a different reason. I think they're selling it for syndication.
Oh,
so
and that's
they can sell it to another channel,
so they can monetize it. Whenever
Exactly.
you see something go away, it's specifically for financial reasons.
They can't make money on it being Disney Plus, so they'll make money on it being on somewhere else, some other platform.
When you look at Star Wars and where the Star Wars franchise is, sure, they announced 3 movies. The Rey movie is supposed to begin production in 2024 April, and I don't really expect that is going to go anywhere. I actually expect before that happens, there'll be some delays. There'll be it has to go through more development, etc. You will hear innocuous reasons for the new Star Wars movie starring Daisy Ridley they're just going to kick the can effectively. And Indiana Jones, with 1 film, they have buried the franchise. Now, what's interesting is there is still what this new Indiana Jones movie did was effectively stir up interest in the older films. I went back and rewatched Temple of Doom and the original Raiders, which I watch that movie maybe once a year, just because it's a fun movie. But it in contrast, when you're looking at the older Indiana Jones films, it's just so clear with what they've done with the character, how bad it is. And the criticism that you'll see of this new film is a lot. Well, people just don't like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. They don't like her. She's a strong female lead, and the fans, they just don't like strong female leads. Well, guess what? I got news for you. You don't like Rey because you can't handle a strong female character. Presenting strong female characters, Bo-Katan, Padme. You've got, I mean, look at this. Gina Carano's character. Ahsoka. Princess Leia. What's her name from Rogue One? A whole bunch of characters. So I really think that I believe that there is a way that you can go about having a strong female character in a film that fans respond to. Alan, I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this.
I don't know. I mean, the point was that Disney bought these properties. It's not like that they were going to sit on them. They bought them to make money with them. And the reality of it all is they are losing money. They're losing money big time. What they lost $900 million over the last 15 movies. That's not an investment. and it surprises me how everyone on the Disney board still have jobs. It makes no sense to me, and they're doubling down. I think Bob Iger is about to ask for an extension on his contract.
Yeah,
Why?
I heard. I read that. Yeah.
Yeah. What is this? Why is this company allergic to money? Why are they spending so much money on bad stuff? And this is the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Studios, and the one person no one is talking about is Walt Disney. And his vision, his dreams, how he innovated not only movies and television but theme parks, and somehow I think they've just secretly canceled the man. They'll do their obligatory, hey, 100 years Walt Disney, thank you, but no one will ever go back and say, what would Walt have done, or why was Walt motivated to do this, or how did Walt make money? I've mentioned it time and time again. Walt Disney was always on the verge of bankruptcy. And the only way he could not fall into bankruptcy and lose everything was to make movies that appealed to a large audience.
Right.
And it's almost the exact opposite right now. Walt was almost on the brink of bankruptcy. The Walt Disney Company today is just spending money frivolously. And Lucasfilm, they spent all this money on Willow, on Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and it has not made them a dime at this point.
Yeah, it's.
Okay, the first two movies did great, but we saw through it now. We understand, and they're getting their comeuppance at this point.
Well, it's literally been, excuse me. People just are constantly speculating when she'll be out at Lucasfilm. I think the damage is done. I don't know. I think the only way you bring Lucasfilm back is if all the properties go away. And I actually really like the character of Ahsoka. The episode that she was in The Mandalorian, I thought was very good. That was a really good standalone episode, very simple. I really like Rosario Dawson. So there you go. Thank you, Imperfect. I will drink the coffee. But I think at this point, the Ahsoka series and the Acolyte, those shows are not going to save Star Wars. If anything, they may continue to drive fans away. If you're not creating new fans and you continue to alienate the old fans, there's just nowhere for your franchise to go. I think it's kind of done. So where does the Indiana Jones franchise go? On the scrap heap of cinema history. That's where it's going to go. And it's unfortunate. I don't think anyone else can step into that role. I think that, maybe you could do comic books or an animated series, get Harrison Ford sound-alike to voice it, which you can do. But I think what you have to do is these franchises kind of have to go away so people miss them. And then what you do is you do development in the form of novels and comic books and animated shows. That's why Star Wars has such a deep lore, is because of the extended universe. The extended universe created so many great, additional storylines with minor characters, with some of the major characters. It's often brought up. Timothy Zahn's series, Heir to the Empire. I loved that. I read those novels while listening to the Star Wars soundtrack. That's how much I loved it. It was so great. It felt like Star Wars. It felt like the heroes that I loved reunited in a new adventure with a new threat. And Grand Admiral Thrawn was such a powerful character. He was obviously brought into the animated series and, is being brought into now the Disney Plus series. They couldn't escape the extended universe because guess what? Those stories are very good.
Yeah, guess what? Clone Wars kept Star Wars on the forefront for a very long time.
Precisely.
And then, you're absolutely right. The only way to make money off of Indiana Jones at the moment is merchandising, is licensing.
True.
You can start creating some really cool toys, merchandising, collectibles with it, and you're going to make more money than your movies will.
But I'll say this: if you go to a Disney theme park and you're looking for a Star Wars T-shirt with the image of Han Solo or Luke Skywalker, talking about classic Luke, you won't find it. They're only pushing new Star Wars, and I think that's the big issue that I have.
Yeah. Again, they're allergic to money. They are absolutely allergic to money.
And there you have
it. By the way, a lot of talk going on about Full Throttle.
Oh, really?
Did you?
There was LucasArts during the 90s. Every game was a hit.
Yeah.
And I played X-Wing, TIE Fighter. There were all the add-ons like B-Wing. Those games were so good. TIE Fighter was epic. I have recently gone on YouTube to watch the cinematics, which are incredibly crude, from TIE Fighter with the music, because what you're getting is the story of Star Wars and some of the most iconic epic battles from the original Star Wars trilogy, but from the point of view of the Empire. So it's like, we've got to get these rebel scum. It's such a good, that would almost be, if you were going to remake the Star Wars trilogy, don't remake the trilogy, remake it from the Empire's point of view. Just do one movie and you're just telling the story of the original Star Wars trilogy from the point of view of Darth Vader and the Empire and the losses and kind of what their goals are. They're trying to unite the galaxy and, create trade routes or whatever. That would be really cool. But TIE Fighter, the game, go watch the cinematics. They're really crude, but I loved TIE Fighter. And what was cool was they really created a logic for how the X-Wings and TIE Fighters worked, what their strengths and weaknesses were. So yeah, big fan. Alan, any final thoughts?
Yeah, they're screwed. Disney is so screwed at the moment. You heard about the attendance?
No, I'm sorry. Could you go with the attendance figures?
Yeah, you heard about those attendance figures. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, no, just saying that the attendance was down over 4th of July at Disney parks while up at everywhere else.
Okay. So you're more of a theme park guy than I am.
Kind of. Honestly, I haven't been to a theme park except Knott's Berry Farm since the pandemic. So
I've been to Knott's Berry Farm several times because they do these food festivals that are so fun.
Yeah.
You get like a little card, a punch card where you have you can get 8 tastes and everything is like a meal. So you can get drinks and oh my God, it's so good.
Well, one of the great things about Knott's is the meal plan with the annual passes.
The meal plan, the drink, like all that stuff is it's such a good value. I feel like the smaller theme parks and even smaller sports franchises, they basically just try harder for your business
because they have to compete with Disney, and quite frankly, they're starting to win.
Yeah, so they try harder. But okay, so this is significant. 4th of July holiday is a Tuesday, and fewer people went to Disney. You know why? I think part of it is, would you consider, or would you think that Disney's brand over the last couple of years the brand itself has actually evolved? It's not considered a family-friendly brand anymore. It just
I would say that, and I would also say they're cheap as hell, and that they haven't really they haven't been doing good upkeep of the theme parks lately, which is kind of par for the course. It kind of goes in waves, but and then the cost to get out of your car, the cost to buy a meal, it's astronomical.
I saw a really interesting TikTok video. I never watched TikTok because, first of all, I don't have TikTok, but whenever these videos from TikTok migrate over to YouTube, I'll watch them. And it was a mother and her 3 kids, and they went to Disney World, and all she did was keep all of her receipts. So they went there. She bought lightsabers for her kids, which those are $200 each. Fine. Okay. Actually set that cost aside. She went and you can look up this video. and she went and compiled like all the receipts for every meal, every sort of cost, parking, and it was several $1,000s for a day, tickets, parking, you getting snacks, 3 meals, you're several $1,000s in, several $1,000s.
Yeah.
And she showed the receipts. She was like, here are the receipts. This meal cost $300, $400. This was this. And it wasn't like I don't think she was doing anything extravagant. It was just like a basic thing with your family. That's where, places like, Universal, you can get an annual pass for super cheap. Look, and I have no dog in this fight. I'm not endorsing anything. I'm not endorsing anything. I'm just saying, as a consumer, and I have not been to Disney since probably 2018 or even earlier than that.
Yeah. By the way, a couple weeks ago, I had to go to downtown Disney to buy a gift for my child. And parking for the hour was $14. And it used to be you could take the ticket price and credit that against whatever you're buying. Can't do that anymore. And now, and then to eat at downtown Disney is, again, astronomical. I don't know why I would ever go to downtown Disney again now.
Yeah, it's I haven't been, I think, since 2018. I was fortunate enough, a friend of mine used to work there, and I got to go to Galaxy's Edge. True story. I went to Galaxy's Edge, and I tried the blue milk.
Well, okay, I'll give it a try. It's great.
Yeah, I not a fan.